Today, Saturday, the 2nd of November 2024, we have some hand-picked match predictions to share with you, which will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to members-only match prediction picks, as well as our top 15 game prediction events with huge odds, which we have just shared to members only, to take your winning to the next level, then of course you want to make sure to also join the Level 2 Pro membership package plan to start to have access to all our top match prediction picks to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. So without wasting time, I'm going to begin with the first match picks of today's list. Looking at the first event, we are looking at China in the Super League, a match between Shanghai against Tianjin Jinan Tiger. Looking at the recent event performance of Shanghai based on recent event they have had, you're going to see that the recent two games they have played shows that they are good, and they have had games especially in the AFC Champions League as well as in the Super League. Looking at that of its opponent, on the other hand, the performance is not as great as that of the home Shanghai. And we are going to see that based on recent event played by Shanghai, especially at home, they are very, very good, especially when they come at home. They have lost no game at home, and the offensive power at home is very strong. But that of Tianjin Tiger, based on the way, is very weak, and they do concede a lot of goals, and the rating, based on the way play, shows that they do concede as much. Now, comparing these two in terms of stand, you're going to see that the form comparison of these two will prove that based on form table, based on recent event they have had, Shanghai proved to be better, especially at home. And looking at these, especially for these performance based on its home, you're going to see that its offensive here is really very, very strong. And looking at the number of events they've had, you're going to see that for these Shanghai Port, especially the number of events here, you're going to see the rating. 5 events played, they have had 5 straight wins, and of course 24 goals scored and 4 conceded. This proved a high offensive power and high defense. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, the defense is almost of equal comparison, but the offense is not as strong as that of Shanghai Port. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major events here in full time. Looking at this, of course, the performance of Shanghai, especially due to offense comparison, the home team Shanghai is more. And looking at the fact that the home is more offensive as compared to that of the opponent, we want to look at Shanghai to take advantage of its high offense to try to lead this match in full time or to give it a double chance. We also want to look at the possibility of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we're looking at Cyprus, that is in the Cyprus First Division, a match between Paphos against Omonia Aridopo. Looking at this, the performance of the home team have proved to be good, and they have mostly had events, especially in the C League itself, that is Cyprus League, as well as in the Conference League, and the performance have proved that they are good, especially in the C League itself. Looking at that of its opponent, on the other hand, they are not as good as compared to that of the home. And looking at the stands in terms of form comparison of these two, you're going to see that based on the form, the home team Paphos have proved to be better. Sitting on the first place on this table, they've had 5 events played, having 4 wins, scoring 12 goals and conceding 4. The opponent, on the other hand, proved to be more conceding, and the offensive power is not as strong as compared to that of the home. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. Looking at this, the home team Paphos have proved to be more offensive. And since the offense is very, very strong, but the defense of that of its opponent is weak, of course, Paphos, which is the home team, is going to likely take the advantage of the weak defense of its opponent to try to lead this event in full time. We also want to look at the possibility of at least the home team to score 1 goal or more in this event in full time. These are our 2 major picks. That is the home to lead, as well as at least 1.5 goals in this event in full time. Looking at the next, we are looking still the Cyprus League, a match between Omonia against Omonia 29th May. Looking at this, of course, the performance of the home have proved that they do concede as much as they can based on recent event they have had. The opponent, on the other hand, is also almost of the same. And looking at the stand comparison in terms of form, looking at these two based on recent event they have had, you're going to see that the performance rating on these two, Omonia have had 5 events, having 9 goals scored, 7 conceded. Average at scoring and the defense is not very good. but that of Omonia May 29 is more conceding. And looking at the fact that, especially the away, which is not the favorite, you're going to see that based on the way, the conceding power is more. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this event, the home team proved to be more in terms of gameplay rating based on recent event. We want to look at the home to take advantage of the fact that the away team is not as strong as compared to it, to try to lead this match in full time or to give it a double chance. These are our two major picks here in full time. Looking at the next, we are looking at England in the championship, the match between Leeds against Plymouth. In this event, of course, the performance of Leeds based on recent events have shown that they are great, but comparing to that of its opponent on the other hand, they do concede as much as they can. Looking at the stands and comparing the form based on these two, on recent event they've had, you're going to see that the home team, Leeds, proved to be better. You can see for 5 events played, 2 wins, 7 goals scored, 4 conceded. Plymouth, on the other hand, proved that they do concede as much, having 11 goal conceded based on recent event they have had. Looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major events here in full time. For this particular event, of course, the home is better in terms of recent event. And since the away is more conceding, we want to look at the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to either try to lead this match in full time or to look at double chance for the home team in full time. Looking at the next, we're looking at Germany in the Bundesliga, a match between Bayern Munich against Union Berlin. Of course, the recent performance of the home Bayern Munich has proved that they are very offensive, having showed a great gameplay recently. That of its opponent, on the other hand, Union Berlin, of course, have proved that they are not as offensive as that of Bayern Munich. Comparing the stands of these two in terms of form, you're going to see that the form table will prove that Bayern Munich, of course, sits here on the second position, and the offensive power here is very strong. For 5 events played, they've had 3 wins recently, scoring 18 goals and conceding 4. But that of Union Berlin, of course, you can see the offensive power is not very strong. 5 events played, 3 wins, 7 goals scored, and 4 conceded. The offensive power of Union Berlin is not very good, and we want to look at 2 major picks for this event in full time. Looking at this, of course, Bayern Munich, which is the home team, the offense is very strong, scoring an average that is having an average goal score rate of above 3, going to 3.5. But comparing to that of its opponent, on the other hand, they are not very great at offense. Therefore, Bayern want to take advantage of its full offense to try to lead this match in full time, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. These are our 2 major pick events. That is Bayern to either lead this match in full time or looking at the possibility of at least 1.5 goal for this particular match in full time. Looking at the next, we are looking at Greece in the Super League, the match between Olympiacos Piraeus against Panserakos. These two teams, of course, have proved to be almost of equal strength based on recent events they have had. Comparing these two in terms of stand, you're going to see that based on the form here, while Panserakos sits on the 4th position, the offense is average and the defense is also average. That of its opponent, on the other hand, they are not also good in defense, and looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For these events, both of the two sides, the defense is not very strong and the offense is average. These are 2 teams of almost equal strength, which they will try to see every way possible to try to secure points, leading to high shoots off and on target, causing goals probability. We want to look at least 1.5 goal here in full time or 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we're looking at Portugal in the Premier Liga, that is Liga de Portugal, Ferenc against Benfica. Looking at this, of course, the recent performance of Ferenc have proved not to be very strong as compared to that of Benfica, on the other hand, that have proved to be more offensive based on recent events they've had. Comparing the stands, especially the form in terms of these two, we're going to see Benfica sit on the better place, having sitting on the 3rd position. They have scored 18 goals for 5 games played and having 4 wins based on 5 events. Very offensive and very defensive. Comparing that of its opponent, on the other hand, Ferenc, the offensive power is not very strong, but the defense, of course, is average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at everything here, 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, Benfica, which is the away team, is more offensive, and the fact that it have an average goal score rate of above 3 and even more offensive, you're going to take advantage of the average defense of the home. So we want to look at Benfica to lead in full time, as well as at least 1.5 goal or 2 goals over to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we're looking at Serbia in the Super League. We're looking at Crvena Zvezda against Vojvodina. The home Crvena Zvezda have proved to be very offensive based on recent events they've had, especially the recent cup game they just played, as well as in the Super League against Subotica. The opponent, on the other hand, the offense is not very strong. And looking at the comparison of these two, of course, the form proved that Krevna Zevda is more in terms of form. And looking at the comparison, Krevna sits on the first position, having played 5 events, or the 5-win record, scoring 19 goals and conceding 4. The opponent, on the other hand, is not as good in terms of defense, which is average, and the offense is not also very great. And comparing these two, we want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this particular event, of course, the home Krevna Zevda have a very high offense. And the fact that the defense of its opponent is not very strong is going to try to take advantage of the average defense of the away. Therefore, we want to look at Krevna Zevda to lead in full time, as well as at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we're looking at Premier, that is Ukraine Premier League, a match between Shakhtar Donetsk against Share Odessa. For this event, of course, Shakhtar Donetsk have proved to be better in terms of recent event comparing to that of the opponent. On the other hand, comparing the stance, especially the form of these two, you're going to see that Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, which is the home, proved to be better, having an average goal score rate of above 2. They've had 10 events played recently, having 6 wins, 26 goals scored, and 10 conceded. But that of the opponent, on the other hand, is not very good in terms of offense, and the defense is not also very strong. But comparing the recent game played of Shakhtar Donetsk, you're going to see that they are better in terms of offense. Very high offensive power, especially they played at home. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, which is away, they are not very good. And you're going to see here that the defensive power is average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks here in full time. Looking at this, of course, the home Shakhtar Donetsk is more better as compared to that of the opponent. And since Shakhtar Donetsk, especially at home, is very offensive, we want to look at it to take advantage of the home, that is the home advantage, to lead this event in full time. As well as looking at least 1.5 goal here in full time. Looking at the next, we are looking at Wales Premier Division, Barry against TNS, which is the new scent. Barry is good in terms of recent event they have played. TNS also, on the other hand, is very good and very offensive based on recent event they have had. Looking at the stand comparison of these two, especially the form, you're going to see that TNS, which is the away, is very good in terms of form. And you can see two teams of good strength based on offense and defense. While TNS have had 5 events, 4 wins record, 15 goals scored, 5 conceded. The opponent, on the other hand, is also good in terms of scoring, and the defense is also average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time based on the fact that they sit on the first and second position. Looking at this, of course, these two teams are good at offense. And looking at the fact that the defense is not very strong based on both sides, these two sides will try every possibility to lead. So, of course, to secure a point, there'll be more shots on and off target, causing goals probability. And as a result, we want to look at least 1.5 goal in full time or 2 goals over, as well as even the possibility of 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to all our game prediction based on top 10 and top 15, which we have just shared to members only, then of course you want to make sure that you become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan to start to have access to all of these features with huge odds to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. Just click on it, navigate and join to become a member and start to have benefit by all of these features to take your winning to the next level. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye bye for now.